It's 2025 and it's time for a refresh on the StreetFighter V4S. Let's put in some work. We're gonna do the oil, we're gonna do the coolant, we're gonna do the performance technology heat sink, removing the old school OEM hose to something new. Hopefully it'll drop the degree of the heat.
Money work.
The first thing you want to do before changing the oil on a V4S, these engines are extremely tricky and there's a lot of oil all over the entire engine on the inside, right? So you want to let this sit either overnight or maybe if you didn't ride it for a couple of weeks, make sure that all of the oil has gone down to the sump pump first. You can see it here, it's pretty high. It's actually leveled, but since the bike is tilted a little bit forward, this is why it looks up. Now we're gonna crack those bolts open and let the oil run out. Get yourself a little bit of aluminum foil. This is backup. I don't want it to splash on my exhaust. That's it. I'm gonna crack this bolt open. Okay. Oh. She blows. Okay. All right, so now we're going to get ourselves 3 M8. Three M8s. 0.125. You want to kind of push those in evenly. This is set to get the filter out. Now we're gonna work these out evenly. Evenly. That got dirty. So now we're gonna stick our hand in here. See if we can get the filter out. There we go, got it. Flat there, and there's the hole, the gasket. Nice. You could see a little bit of shaving, not a lot, pretty typical for a Ducati. You can even see some shaving also on the other components, which I'll show you shortly. Give me a second. Now, if you guys want to support what I do here on the channel, super important, you hit motivationusa.com for all the parts that I'm talking about that you see on this motorcycle, whether it's Rizoma, whether it's DBK, Performance Technology, Gillis Tooling for a Japanese bike, premium Italian bikes. Shop and support me and support the sponsors that brings you these amazing videos on the channel. Ideally, you want to kind of let this drain overnight because the V4 engine tend to have a lot of oil stored all over the engine. But this has been sitting for a while and I haven't ridden it for a couple of weeks, but I'll still let it sit overnight anyway. It's winter, man, so not much going on anyway. Might as well do a super thorough job of this oil change. Just gonna show you guys here. This is the oil drain plug. You could see a little bit of shaving on there. Pretty common when we're talking about Ducatis. Not so bad at all. We're just gonna clean that, wipe it down. So now we're back after letting the oil drain. It's been fully drained into the pan. I have the oil filter as well, but I'm gonna do something else as an added precaution. I have my own little bucket here. I'm gonna drain the oil pan into this little bucket just to get a general idea how much oil came out of the bike. Even though ideally you're supposed to get 3.4 liters into the bike, but the V4 engine platform tend to be a little tricky. So we're gonna take all kind of precautions not to overfill the motorcycle. All right, let's get our oil into that bucket. You always lose a little bit of oil no matter what you do. Oh, wow, sweetie, you are right. Just below the 3 liters. Still dripping though, so still some juice left. But by the way, just a quick heads up, guys. I did lose a little bit of oil when I took everything out. It spilled out onto the platform, so I would say it's exactly 3 liters for sure. There you go. All right, just gotta make sure we clean our working area thoroughly before getting back to it. Always keep everything nice and tidy. It'll make your life a lot easier. And then we're gonna clean up. All right, now you're gonna take a clean rag, gonna wipe down the bottom of the bike here. Perfect. We're also going to take this to wipe down thoroughly. This is the bottom cap. That's gonna hold the filter. Mine's a little greasy, so I'm gonna clean that up as well. I'm also gonna replace the O-rings. You know, you don't have to sometimes, but to be safe than sorry, replace them. They do provide fresh new ones. I'm gonna replace those and start wrapping up. That looks nice and neat. Here's our official Ducati kit that we're gonna replace with. We have the filter, we have the crush washer, and we also have the gaskets. Great. Let's start by throwing back on the crush washer and the magnetic drain bolt. Make sure that's nice and clean. I'm gonna show you my drain bolt. It's clean. I got the fresh crush washer in there, and then we're gonna throw that on. We're gonna hand thread it on first before anything. Again, make sure everything looks clean. There you go, hand thread. You wanna make sure that this is hand threaded. Don't start tightening anything down. It's nice and clean, that looks good. Perfect, and then we'll work on torquing that down shortly. And now we're gonna take our new O-rings from our package. There we go. Don't be cheap, don't reuse the old one. Take the new O-rings, guys, and use them. They're gonna feel tight and snug when you're putting them on, but that's okay, just get it rocking. Let's take the old one off. The first one is out. There you go. And we're gonna take the second one out as well. There we go. Second one is out. I would recommend getting a little bit of oil on the new one before putting them in. It's gonna make your life a lot easier. All right, starting off, we're gonna take the new one. Put a tad bit of old oil in there. If you want, you can do new oil, of course. Ideally, you would do new oil, but it's okay. I like starting with the bottom one. It's gonna feel snug, but it's okay. There you go, first O-ring is on. We'll do the second one now, and then let's get the last one in. There we go, making progress. Now both O-rings are on, and now we're ready to put that filter in. In some cases, you could let the filter soak a little bit into the new oil, into a little pan before putting it in, and let the bike sit for a bit. So now we're gonna throw in our fresh Ducati OEM filter. Make sure, well, it only goes one way, by the way, where you can see the cap going in right there, upwards. The bottom is closed off. I'm gonna put a little bit of oil here, just so we can slide it nice and easy. Just a little dab of oil at the very top here. You're gonna slide it in. You're gonna feel when it's correct. You're gonna hear it snap. There we go. And it's not gonna come out once you put it in and it snaps. Perfect. And now we're gonna throw on our oil filter cap here at the very bottom. So I had to use a dead blow hammer to kind of slowly get this on, massage it in. And then now we're going to clean all this up and then get ready to torque it down. And then also torque this bolt down. All right, now we're gonna ratchet that down a little bit and torque it down to 16 Newton meters. Just gonna get one. Get a twist on there. There you go, it's tight, perfect. And now we're gonna torque that down and crush that crush washer. There you go, 16 Newton meters. Now we're just gonna clean up, make sure everything looks good. No oil. Just hand tight. And then we're gonna get the third one in. Perfect, it's tight. It's tight. It's tight. You're just gonna torque that down to 10 Newton meters. There you go. Torqued. There you go. It's torqued. Seated. Here we go. Perfect. So everything is all torqued down. The drain bolt is torqued down. Now we're gonna get some fresh blood in the bike. At the very tail end of our oil change for the V4S, we are using the Motul 15W50. Great oil, everyone knows about it. This is a 4 liter. The bike takes 3.4 liters, but I'm gonna go slightly below. What I intend to do, instead of measuring 3 liters into the bike, I took precaution and measured the oil that actually came out of the bike and know exactly the amount. It says 3 liters. This is 1 liter. I'm gonna remove 1 liter out of the actual bottle, the 4 liter bottle, and then slowly pour it in and check the sight glass. Let's start by doing that. Take 1 liter out, the 4 liter bottle, fresh blood. Look at that. I'm gonna take a little bit more out just in case. I could always pour if I need more. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have my wife on the opposite side to keep an eye out for me. Use your phone with the light, sweetie. All right, let's get some oil in this baby. Already started. Oh baby, it's a lot. This thing is very slow. Yep. Give it a second. Let's see. I see it inside the case though, which is good. The oil's starting to show on the sight glass on the opposite side. I'm going really slow. I much rather have less oil than too much oil. So I'm letting it seep through the bike a little bit and then check the sight glass first. And then I'll pour a little bit more. There's still a little bit more left in the actual 3-liter bottle I have remaining until I have to go any further. So it's really, really good having someone with you when you're doing this so you can see the sight glass. The way Ducati designed this bike, you pour the oil on the right-hand side. On the left-hand side is the sight glass. Make sure the bike is upright. So having a second set of eyes, checking because the oil is slowly filling. It looks like it's too little. If you're not patient, you could overfill it really easily. So let's wait and see. So here's a little more. We're gonna let it seep through all the way down to the sump, check it, and then we're gonna run the bike for about 15 minutes, let the oil cycle through the entire engine, and then let it rest again. And then we'll determine if it needs a little bit more or if we overdid it. And quadruple check, make sure that it's done right. And you gotta baby it at this point, you know? All right, let's take a quick look here. This is at, let's do it eye level. This is where the oil is at before I run the bike. So let's run it and then let it sit first and see if we need to do more. So with a V4 engine, oil tend to take time to go through, travel through the entire bike. So I'm gonna close this off and then run the bike. Let's get our start started and let the bike run for a bit. Looks good. What we're gonna do now is let the bike sit. You can leave it for an hour or so. It's up to you, whatever you choose to. I'm gonna let my bike sit for, for the night, and then I'll check it back in the morning, see if it needs any extra oil or if I'm exactly where I need to be, and then I'll add. Always best to go below than what you need instead of going over of what's recommended. And that's what came out of the bike, guys, 3 liters. If you look very close here at the bottle, there's still some left out the 3-liter that I poured in just to be safe instead of like overfilling it. That creates like a whole other issue. So tomorrow morning I'll check it, and if everything is golden, then I'll just leave it as is. If it needs a little bit more oil, I'll drop a smidge in it.